Yo guys, what's going on? It's Bilal aka DSG Demons. Today we're doing a very highly requested video. It's the running costs on the C63. A lot of people want to know how much it costs to run. Every single aspect I'm going to try and cover, same as the Golf R that I did. Finance, servicing, brakes, tyres, everything. And I'm going to try and give them as realistic as I can because I don't think there's too many running cost videos out on this car. And it seems that a lot of people are wanting to buy them now as well, all of a sudden, so I think it'd be quite a useful video. So, the first thing we'll go into is pricing of the car, finance structures and stuff like that. Mine was a bit different because I put a very strong deposit down on the car. The car price was 23.5 grand, including VAT and everything. I put 13.5 grand down as a deposit, so I put quite a strong deposit down. I'm not sure if many people put such a strong deposit down. I wanted to try and make my payments a bit lower, so that's what I did, because basically because of the age of the car, it's a 2013, they wouldn't give quite a long full length lend on this car for finance on a HP because it's obviously expired from PCP. And if you don't know what the difference between PCP and HP is, basically PCP is kind of like, in a way, a loan. It's similar to a lease but not, because you have the option to buy the car at the end of the term. You could go from I think 2 to 4 years or 1 to 4 years borrowing, you choose, and at the end of it there's basically a balloon or guaranteed future value, and you can either pay that and take the car or you can hand the car back. But obviously in this day and age no one really keeps their cars for the full term of their agreement, everyone sells it midway. But anyway, this car wasn't a PCP because of the age, because the car has to be no more than 5 years old to get a PCP. This car is HP. They'd only lend 39 months on this car, so I borrowed the 10 grand over 39 months and my payments are about around 320 quid. I think over the whole agreement I'll pay about 3 grand in interest, but I only borrowed the 10 because I'm going to use that 10 to invest elsewhere because we're planning to get a new unit and stuff, I think. So that is basically being kept away to save there, or I'm saving for a property as well. I pay about 320 quid a month on the car itself with my 13.5 grand deposit. Now if you put like a 2-3 grand deposit down, you might be paying around the 500 mark, which is quite a lot for a similarly priced car. It's quite a lot. Because of the restricted lend on the car, you'd probably need to put like quite a strong deposit. I'd say bare minimum maybe 5,000-6,000 pound. I put 13.5 grand just because I've got the Golf R as well. Obviously, as you know, that's on finance, and I wanted to keep the payments around under 700, so I think together for the cars I pay like 650 for both cars, which is alright for me. That's what I wanted, because I didn't want a massive like £1,000 monthly outgoing on just the finance itself, because then there's everything else to factor in as well. For me, the balance of deposit and lend and the monthly payment was perfect for me. Bearing in mind, like I told you as well, my credit isn't the best, so I got a bit of a higher rate. I pay about 2,900 back over the whole agreement, but my plan is hopefully to just pay it off within 12 months, and then I won't have to pay the interest. I'm gonna just pay the whole agreement off and have the car cash paid. But yeah, that's the finance. That's basically the finance aspect to it. The next side is insurance. So I pay about £2,800 on insurance for this car. It's insured me and my mum on the car. I'm first, she's second. One thing they've changed on insurance that I know now is the trick everyone used to use was to put their parents on the car as first driver to make it cheaper. Insurance companies have clocked onto this now. They won't let you do it anymore. But I've been finding, I did it with the Golf R first and now I've done it with this. Now I'm on the Golf R on my own. That was cheaper. But on this it was cheaper to put my mum second and me first. I don't know why, but it happened on the Golf R as well, and it happened on my 1 Series. I think in the past 3 years or so they've kind of changed it. If you put like when I put my mum first driving this car, it was over 10 grand. And when I put a second, it was like 2,800. So daylight difference between both. The next aspect is servicing. Now I've not had a service done on the car itself yet. It's probably due in about 3 or 4 months because it was done just before I bought the car. But there's 2 services with the W204. There's the A service and the B service. My brother-in-law's got the same car. He had his done mid last year. He had got the A service, the bigger one, and he paid £900 without any other things that needed doing. He paid about £950 just for the A service, which is expensive, but obviously because it's a big engine there's high maintenance costs on it. From what I've been looking at, it's Sunday, so I've been trying to call Mercedes to get a price on a B service, but from what I'm reading online on forums, it's around the £550 mark for a B service. But that's without, obviously when you go to the dealership they start pointing out all the things that need doing on the car. They'll offer it to you and then most likely because the car's there, you'll end up getting them done. So that's not factoring in other things. Like my brother-in-law, he needed some kind of belt changing, and he ended up paying about $11.50 in total for the car to be serviced and to have that done, because they just tell you extra things that need doing once the car goes in that you never really knew about. Servicing alone, obviously you need an A service and then a B service. It alternates every year or every 10,000 miles or so. So it depends out. That is a completely dependent on how much you drive the car. But with the kind of car it is, it's kind of become a bit of an investment car now, so you wouldn't really drive it much like I do. I don't, sorry. Next part, tyres, which you're going to be going through a lot of in this fucking car, I'm telling you now, because they just choose rear tyres for jokes. I don't run them. I don't run PS4s. I run a different one. I've mentioned it before, Michelin Camorans. I've not run them on this yet, but I will be, because they are just different. They're so underrated. People are going to say that the budgets, blah, blah, blah. They're not. Try them. Trust me, read the reviews on them. Shams literally just rang me now. He's just put them on his GTI front wheel drive, and he goes, there's no slip at all. I've ran them on the Golf R for over a year. Since August 19, I ran a fresh set. They came brand new on the car. I didn't put them on. I didn't even know what they were. Everyone kept asking me what they were. I had no clue until I found out. I put a fresh set on last week, and they're just unbeatable. I'm telling you now, they are the best tyres I've used. And I've ran PS4s, and I think these are better. Honestly, 310 quid fitted through Asda tyres. They're differently bad. Trust me. I'm going to be running then, but I know a lot of people are going to be suspect about that. So I'll give you a price based on what everyone is probably going to run on these, which is PS4s. I went on Black Circles, which is like kind of the popular place at the moment that everyone's getting tyres from, and they're quoting for the tyres on this, which runs 255 35 19 on the back, I think, and 255 30 19 on the front, or it's the opposite around. I need to double check, but that's what this car runs, and based on that you're paying about 169 quid a tyre, which is basically, call it 700, which is steep. The quote I got for the Camorans on this, which I'm going to be running and experimenting on a rear wheel drive car, it was about 320 330 fitted, so it's about half the price. Obviously the back ones are going to be the ones that I'm going to be chewing through all the time, so when the new wheels go on, I'm going to be putting the new tyres on that, because they've got a really thick tyre wall as well, which fills up the arch gap, which once I put them on, I'm going to see how they hold up. If they're good enough to keep on the car, then I'm going to see how it fills up the arch gap to decide whether I need to put springs on it or not, because spacers probably will be going on depending on how the wheels sit. But with the wheels that I've bought for the car, they no one's put them on a W204 before, so Riviera Wheels, who I've got them from, he's told me to run them, see how they sit, and then they can accordingly put spacers on if needed. But yeah, that's basically the tyre side of it. Next up, everyone's favourite topic, fuel. And let me tell you one thing, fuel in this car is a bitch. It drinks. We're sat here now, and it's just you can actually see the needle just moving as you sat here with the car turned on tick over. Fuel should not be a thought in your mind like, can I afford the fuel? Because if you're thinking about that, then don't buy it. Right now, I've driven very easily. We're at Trafford Centre, about 10 miles from my house. I've driven very smoothly, not really put my foot down at all, just to try and get a fair figure of what MPG I've got. It's a 10-mile journey, and we've hit 12. We're averaging about 13 MPG. Because it's been on tick over, it's gone down a bit. But when we pulled up, it was on about 13.6. Just cruising about over 10-mile journey. Now, when you put your foot down, which obviously you're going to, it's a different story. Realistically, I would say a mid-range day where you put your foot down a bit and you cruise around a bit, you're getting a solid 7-8 MPG in this car. The tank is small. It's momentum, it's about 70 quid, 72 quid. V-power, it's about 85 to 87. So whatever your preference on fuel is, that's what you're going to go for. Don't put normal fuel in it. If you're going to 99, whatever you do, whether it's momentum or V-power, put 99 in this car. What I told you in the dyno video about the octane adjustments, the car, when you put 95 fuel in, this car adjusts to that and it produces less power. And obviously, because I got the map, they reset the system, but I don't know if that can be done if the car isn't mapped. So essentially, if someone's run 95 fuel before you, or you're going to run 95 fuel or 97 fuel, the car will produce less power. Even if you put 99 in after that, it will run less power. So just keep it at 99. Average, I'm getting pre-map, I was getting about 150 a tank from a 72 pound V-power tank. And now, since map, the first tank I used after the map, I got literally 97 miles. Obviously, I was having fun with the new map, so I was hooning it around. But £100 from a £70 tank. So now I've calmed down a bit. I mean, we're on just under a quarter of a tank now, and on my trip since we've done 50 miles on just 54 miles on just under a quarter of a tank. Just less, going towards half, which is on the better side. Average, I would say, on this car, I'm probably getting a solid about 110 to 120 because it's always about 117. So I don't really go on the motorway in this car just because of the mileage. So city cruising, I'm getting about 120. So you could call that just short of 50p a mile. Next part is mods. Now, mods is something that not everyone will do. Some people just keep it stock because they want to keep it as factory as they can. But I'll give you the breakdown of the costs of the mods I've put on the car so far, so that you kind of understand what it's going to be costing you. So we'll start with the spoiler and the diffuser, the carbon ones that I've got on the car. I got a good deal on them from the company I bought them from as part of like a sponsor kind of thing. So I paid $385 for the spoiler and diffuser, both in real carbon. Full price, you're looking at around £600 for both, probably about £300 for each of them. The next part is what's not gone on the car yet, is the wheels. Again, I got a sponsor deal on them, so I didn't pay full price. But full price on them without tyres is $650. So if you change the wheels on them, if you were getting the same ones, it'd be about $650. The next part, the carbon trim that I've ran across the dash, I got that, found it on eBay, that's been reskinned. It was a factory one that's been reskinned in carbon fibre, and I got it for what I thought was a good price. I got it for £75. The rest of the carbon in the car is actually stickers. It's real carbon, but they've been gelled as stickers and put 3M tape on the back, which sticks over, because I didn't want to change the factory trims out and break any clips or anything. So I just wanted something that was kind of removable in case I put the car back to stock. Otherwise I would have just changed the whole things out. I'm yet to do the door trims and around the electric seat buttons. They're yet to be done, and around the gear shifter. The problem I'm having the gear shifter at the moment is that I found one online, because the W204 C63 is a bit different to the non-AMG version because it has the sport button here. So there's not many of them about. I found one on eBay. The guy is just trying to milk it. He wants £500 just for the gear shifts around. I spoke to a company that does reskinning. I've offered to send them the part and the door trim parts, and I think it's all in. He's asking for about £350, which I'm probably going to do. I just need to take them off and send them off. The steering wheel, my spec was obviously the forged carbon top and bottom, Alcantara on the sides. I've put an Alcantara airbag on it now as well. The LED at the top and reshaped, and that wheel total setup is about $1,350 total. That's excluding fitting. Next up was the Apple CarPlay, so that will set you back about £300, which is, to be honest, for the value of money against what you're getting, I think the Apple CarPlay was the best mod I've done in the car for the price that I paid. Ash and Kush absolutely smashed it with that. I just can't believe how good it is. The map and the cats, I think, are usually about £1,200 all in for the exact setup that I got. I paid, again, part of a sponsor deal, I paid $600, so I got it a lot cheaper. But I think the full price is around £1,200 to get both cats taken out and a stage 2 map. That was from Eurospec. The next mod was just the little parts I did. The tints were about 150, the D-chrome was about 100, 150 again, and the light tints were about 100. They were the smaller mods that I've done on the car. Bought a carbon splitter as well. I've not shown it yet. I've not seen anyone running it before. I know people are running it, but I can't seem to see anyone online running this exact splitter. But the splitter cost me $250 in carbon. So it's expensive considering I'm probably gonna have to buy it again because I always break splitters. I've just bought another one for my Golf R as well. I mean, that's all the mods that I've pretty much done so far in the car. The Starlight as well, yeah, sorry. Obviously we offer the Starlight on Demonized. From us, for the same car, you're looking at around the 550, 600 mark. It's subject to exact quote, but that's roughly what it cost in this car. But yeah, that's pretty much every mod that I've done so far in this car. There's more to come yet. I'm looking at a Wisec intercooler at the moment. It's a secondary intercooler because this car has like two, and it's about £450 for the part. I need to find out the fitting price yet, but I'm going to be getting that because, as I mentioned in the other video, I was going to go for intakes, sorry, but I've done a bit of research now. They're about £1,000 like I was saying, but people are saying the more effective, cost effective and mod that's going to make the difference to the temps of the car, which was my concern, is actually the secondary intercooler, which will be better, and it's about half the price. But yeah, that's pretty much all the mods and what's planned next in terms of prices there. The next thing that you're probably going to need to be changing is the brakes. Now on this car I'm running from factory, they're drilled and grooved discs, and the pads are from Mercedes as well, and I think it's roughly about £1,500 for the full setup on the brakes, all 4 pads and discs. But it's expensive, very expensive. I'm going to be honest, I don't think they're that good considering they're drilled and grooved. I know it's a heavy car, but I actually think they're pretty shit. My Golf R's running stock discs right now. I know it's a lighter car, but it seems to stop a lot better than this, and they're not drilled or grooved at all. I'm not too happy with the brakes on this, and they're still fresh because they only got changed in July, but I'm actually considering changing them because I'm actually not happy with how this car brakes when you need it to brake hard. I actually wouldn't recommend the factory ones. I think they're shit. So I'm going to be doing some research into what kind of brakes people run on these, and I'm going to be changing them because they're awful. But the other thing I wanted to ask, and if I get some feedback on this, I've brought some Frodo DS2500 pads for my Golf R. I'm basically getting the Golf R fully up to scratch now. I'm getting it, it's just been neglected since I bought this car. I've just been using it as a daily and it's just been neglected. So it got new tyres on it this month, it's had its MOT, it's booked in for a service. One of the headlight bulbs was out. I've bought 2 new bulbs just to change both so they're both colours match. I've bought the DS2500 discs, the splitter's cracked, I bought a new splitter for it. The last thing I need to basically find is discs. I've got the pads, I need the discs. I'm getting loads of recommendations for discs at the moment, and I don't know which ones to go for. Some people are saying run the M-Tech ones, grooved or drilled. Some people are saying run the grooved and drilled, but based on this car, I wouldn't go near them. Some people are saying run the EBC ones. Some people are saying run Club Sport S discs. Some people are saying run Brembos and patches, which I'm probably not going to run. I want something that the stock ones are good, but I just want something better now because I'm going all out on the car, so I just want to put something better on. And obviously with the pads I've got, I want something kind of on the same level. If I could have your sincere recommendations, Golf R GTI owners or S3 owners, could you please make me some recommendations on what discs to get for the Golf R? As for this, it's probably something I'm going to record in the future. I'm going to look into what needs doing on this. Right now I'm kind of focusing on the Golf R because I need to get it back up to scratch, and then I'll start focusing on this car. Brakes wise, if you go to Merc, you're looking at about £1,500 for the full all 4 round. That's pretty much everything covered in terms of costs that I can think of. Again, I've tried to keep it as realistic as I can. I've tried to keep it as dealership based as I can as well. Everyone's going to be different with the way they want to maintain their cars. I'm a bit different. I'm going to keep the services with Mercedes for the sake of the car that it is. If it wasn't, I'd probably just go to a specialist just because of the prices they charge. But just because it's got full Mercedes history, I want to keep the book consistent for if I ever do sell it. So I'm going to keep it with Mercedes. Everything else, I'll probably go to specialists. One other thing with this car is it's got a lot of electrical faults. It's fucking annoying. It gets a lot of electrical faults, more than I've ever had on any of the V-dubs I've had. I was driving around today and there's this alternate battery. It's a battery. There's the main battery and then there's an alternate battery which basically runs off the car. The warning came up for it. Apparently it's a common fault. It's not an expensive change, but it's just the inconvenience of constantly having to do little things to this. Plus the thing I told you the other week about the car cutting out because of the ground wire. It's just little things that just irritate you. But obviously, I love the car. It's amazing. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go for a little drive. I'm going to put my foot down a bit, just around Trafford Park. I'm going to hoon it a bit now, and then I can show you a realistic figure the second you start putting your foot down, how badly this car starts dropping in MPG. So we'll take it to that now. MPG gone, boys. Like I said, pre-map, it was lazy. It was very lazy between 1 and 4. But now, like if I put it back in manual now, look at that now. Do you see that? It's just fucking ridiculous. It's a joke. Sam has just done a madness on this car. Sam has done a madness on this car. The way it just goes now, almost feels like the kickdown on the Golf R, and that's DSG and it's 4Motion, so that is saying something. I know it's a slower car, but the way the Golf R's, anyone's Golf R, not just mine, the way most Golf R's get off, because of DSG and because of 4Motion, off the line, it'll have this. Afterwards is a different story. But now, bro, I'll show you one more time. Just look at this. It's ridiculous. Look at this now. Sunsport Plus. Look at that. What the fuck? It's ridiculous. I'm telling you. It's a joke. This car is scary quick. It sinks your heart how fast it is. But, listen, I'm going to close it up there because it's quite a long video and we've done a lot of talking. I wanted to get some driving shots in so you could enjoy this drive as much as I could. But, like I said, the videos are consistent now. I want everyone to please subscribe, like and share. Harris is doing a sick job right now. The videos have improved massively. The audio we're improving. That's why we kept it in the car today. It was windy. We're trying to improve everything as much as we can. Any more constructive criticism, not bullshit hate. If there's any constructive criticism of anything more you want to see, anything you think we could change, let us know in the comments, and we read every comment, so we will adjust obviously accordingly. But yeah, please like, subscribe and share, support the channel, support the movement of DSG Demons at the moment, because we've got a lot going on. And thank you. Take care.